drawings and everything, but there's a lot of style ways that you could flare it up and make it look even cooler if you want, right? You could put different colors on it, shadings, a background, all that type of stuff here in Solidworks, right? So I'm just gonna go to sketch and then come up here to sketch, right? Now it's gonna ask me which plane do I want. Obviously I'm looking at this part from the top bottom. I'm gonna click top plane. Right, Antonio? Because whenever you enter it to actually blueprint, you might not get the view that you want. Does that make sense? So we're gonna go to top plane. Use this, guys, center point line or WCS, however you want to say it, your X0, Y0, right? You don't want to start doing stuff all the way over here because it's just easier to go based on this, and that highlights whenever you hover over it, correct? So for this drawing, I'm just going to use a center rectangle, right? I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to just leave it in space for right now, because I can just go to my smart dimension, click that line, and we know that that's 8 inches, correct? Mm-hmm. Click this line, and we know that that is 4.5, right? Boom, there I go, correct? Now, as I stated yesterday, whenever you extrude something, it's gonna want to extrude it to that value that you give it, right? So if I make this as a whole, I'm gonna have to extrude it to 1 inch and then cut out these slots. Or I can make the bottom one and then make the top one. Does that make sense? But you can't do it both at the same time unless you extrude the cut also, right? So it's gonna give me a different sketch under here, and that's fine. Even if you have multiple sketches, it's no big deal. You kind of have a little bit more control, right? Because if I ever want to say, if the engineer ever comes and says, hey man, instead of this being 0.625, I want it 0.65. Well, I can easily just click on this and go to the extrude one and change that value. No big deal. Does that make sense? All right. So now that I have that, I'm gonna make my slots because my slots are the same one, right? So I'm just gonna come over here and click a slot. I'm gonna use straight slot. So I'm gonna click it up, bring it down, and just open it up.
Yeah. I did 2 fucking holes.
Alright. So there I go, right? So now smart dimension. This is how smart dimension is so cool, right? Down here, we have horizontal or vertical, right? So, horizontal dimension. If I look at the bottom right of my print, it's saying that it's 407 from here to here, right? So if I click this one and this one, all I gotta do is put 0.407. Boom. It gave me that, right? The width of it, well, that's 0.281, correct? Because that's the radius. So here, hold on, technical difficulties. Here and here, so 0.281.
How do you get that modify to pop up? You just right click.
After you click it on the outside, you left click and it pops up.
Okay.
So now,
that's what I was asking
we need
about.
the up and the down one, correct? So I just go to vertical, click up here, click down here, right? So that's where that 0.937 is at, correct? There I go. So like we said, if I don't see the 0.937, I can just go to my units and go ahead and change these values to 4 for this print. You can go up to 5, you can go up to 10, I believe.
Yeah, so that's where you do that. But that's just for that print, right? So if you made another print, it'd be different.
Like I said, once you do it so many
Default's
times,
2.
it would stay there. So now, the only thing that I have left is the vertical from here, well, it's actually in the center, right? So I'm gonna escape that because I clicked the wrong one. So the vertical from here to here, and that is 1.032, correct? And I think I messed up in this value. because it's not looking like it. So most likely this one is 0.281 times 2. There we go. Right? Because that was the radius of one side, so we need to put it on both. So there goes my drawing, correct? So now I can just easily go to my midpoint line, put that at that 90, make this one for construction only, get another midpoint line, highlight there, for construction only. Now I can go to mirror entities. I want to mirror this guy, right? How about this one? There it goes, right? Mirror that one from this one, about this axis. Boom. Too easy. Now I can go to features, extrude cut. I'm gonna extrude this one down. You see how the arrow's facing up? I'm gonna extrude it down. You can extrude it down or extrude it up. It doesn't really matter, right? But we know that this value is 0.625. Hit enter. There was a flat on the bottom, right? So now I need the top one. So once again, I'm just gonna go to sketch, hit sketch. Which plane do you want to work on? See, Solidworks is so cool that I can click any plane I want. I can click here, here, on top, or this face, and it's gonna automatically work on that plane. Does that make sense? So I can just be like, hey, I wanna work on this plane. See how we brought it there? Right? So now I'm gonna click the center rectangle again, make this come up, make it match that line so I have my vertical, right? And let's go to smart dimension, click this one, that's 5 inches, correct? So there was that box, right? Now all I have to do is extrude that one to 0.375, click the check mark, there we go guys.
Oh golly.
How long did that take?
7 minutes.
Took me all morning.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It took me
I
57
totally
minutes.
forgot we had the,
So you use the slotting tool for those slots. How do you get that 0.937 dimension?
you could do top to top, that's, or like from the top of one circle, top to the other.
For what?
So, when I made my slot, right, I picked the vertical one, and I highlighted right here, and I highlighted down here. And that gave me the 0.937. Too easy?
It is now.
So the next one, you're gonna have to think outside the box and make it on your own.